You'll recall the death earlier this year of star cyclist Burry Stander, who was killed after being hit by a taxi near Shelley Beach on the KwaZulu-Natal south coast while out training for the ABSA Cape Epic. So how do you take the memory forward without becoming overly crass and commercial? That challenge was picked up by the agency Jupiter Drawing Room in Johannesburg for ABSA, and now we go behind the scenes of a powerful initiative.
Burry Stander unfortunately died tragically at the beginning of this year. When we all returned to work at the beginning of the year, it was all still fresh on all of our minds. And we felt we needed to do something to help the good ambassador work that he'd done already and set up sort of carry on post his tragedy that happened.
I think the whole country was quite outraged at another person being taken a little bit too soon. And I think due to his achievements that he had made in the sport, it just made it all the more newsworthy. And the guys came up with a really fitting way to pay tribute to Burry. The idea was to use the very bike that Burry would have ridden on in this year's Cape Epic to compose a musical track on that bicycle. So we approached Rob Schroeder and Rob Roy Studios. Quite a lot of work went into actually finding out which sounds, which parts of the bike would make to knit together a full song. And the song we settled on in the end was Shosholoza, which, as we all know of South Africans, is quite a rally call of greatness. And we thought it was a very fitting tribute to a great ambassador for our sports.
So when the guys from Jupiter first approached me about the making of this tribute and the concept of using bicycle noises or sounds generated from the bicycle to do that, I mean, clearly we had to shoot it in a way where every little nuance on the bike, where we would zoom in and do close-ups of the sampling of all of those different sounds. You know, the taps on the tires, the click of the brakes turning, all of those kind of things. We had to put a lot of effort into shooting that really, really, really nicely.
Well, it's always quite a challenge and to do something like that, because what you have to do is try and create a musical piece from a non-musical instrument. So you take a drumstick and you hit it on some of the spokes and there's a bit of a tone in there. And then we checked things like the actual rubber on the tire. That had a particular sound, so you can use some of that. So what you need is a structure. You need a melodic structure and you need a percussive structure. The percussive one, of course, is a lot easier. And then you try and work in a melodic phrase. So you've got to keep as close as possible to the natural sounds. And then that segues nicely into a vocal piece, which adds to the emotion of the picture. I think it actually turned out quite interesting, and it's quite musical, in fact.
You'll notice sometimes we zoom in on the bike and strange areas and weird little badges, and that's all to show that it is actually Burry's bike, a champion's bike that it was recorded on.
More on the Burry Stander tribute on our Facebook page. You can let us know what you think. We think it's moving, powerful and sensitively executed. Finally this week, imagine a world where all you have to do to receive a free cup of coffee is to yawn. It's a clever new brand idea for Douwe Egberts and its magic coffee machine. It's an idea from the Joe Public Agency. We'll have a yawn, and that's where we will leave it. Next week, we'll show you a campaign that will either renew your love of fast food or possibly make you go vegan. Goodbye, and thank you for watching.
News that moves. enca.com.